Yeah, just to start off, if you saw The Social Network last night, you'll definitely understand where that's from. Basically, it's probably the site that kind of got all the momentum started for Mark Zuckerberg, when he basically blogged about the date that went horribly wrong, and that Erica Albright's just basically dumping him and saying, dude, you're undateable, you suck. So that basically gave him the energy to basically create Face Mash and go from there, and the rest is history. But in all, it was a great movie last night. I went to see it for a matinee, and yeah, blew me away. But that kind of even got me even more, because that's how I started basically in this whole game of blogging / social networking, whatever. That was the one. And back then it was quite interesting, because you basically wrote, and yeah, it was kind of like the pencil and paper type of concept. We basically had conscious streams of thought, and that was about it. It wasn't more of finding friends, because, you know, it's kind of awkward to find friends on Livejournal. I mean, you find someone to read and you go from there and subscribe to them, and that's really about it. But yeah, there were many times basically I did the exact same thing he did, where I basically had a problem with somebody in a relationship and just basically ranted and raved about it. And sometimes basically, yeah, the other party would get wind of it, and it would never be good. Especially like what happened in the movie, basically. If you haven't seen it yet, sorry to spoil it a little bit, but yeah. But also at the same time, too, on the flip side of the coin, I've also had somebody rant and rave about me on Livejournal, and as much as it stung to read about it, it was actually really healthy to see somebody's unedited, slightly self-opinionated opinion of how you are and how you treat somebody else. And that really was constructively healthy in a way, if you could say that, I guess. But unfortunately, you don't really have that type of clear, brutal honesty anymore. I guess there's some places like Craigslist Rant and Raves or some place like that, where it's, you know, low rent, and people basically go to the lowest common denominator. But I guess on Facebook still you can basically filter your friends and say things to some and not to others, but most people don't even know how to figure that out anymore, unfortunately. The site's so convoluted sometimes. Every time they make a format change, it's like, oh crap, I hate this place. I gotta learn it all over again. But for some reason or another, I still stick around there. It's quite something else, though, because he basically hit the root nerve of it all, basically, with basically elite access to social circles, and that definitely is the case, especially with college or high school, even to a certain extent. When he opened it up to everybody that didn't have a .edu address, what did people basically do? They ended up friending people from frickin' high school, middle school, elementary school even, who they haven't spoken with in, you know, long time, many years, sometimes 10, 15 years. In a lot of cases, a lot longer, because, you know, now your mom and your grandma's on Facebook. But at the same time, too, you accepted friends, or you requested friends that, even though you didn't speak with this person, you still cared about what they thought about you in a sick way. You know, it's like, well, you know, I don't know such and such a person, but, you know, they're pretty popular, so, you know, I really had something going on back in the day of this and that. And you did it, so even to a lesser level, that whole social hierarchy still came into play, and that's why that site is still successful and actually even grew more exponentially after he opened it up to everybody else to get 500 million friends or whatever he's up to now. But anyways, I gotta get going. I got to get to class.